Hey, it's a show. Hey, are you awake? Ben, wake up. See that? Dad, it's Uncle Jason. That's what I get when we're supposed to do a show. Tell your dad to get up and get on the show. See you in a bit. All right, Rick and I are here. It's Rated Rick and me. And right now, the Bucks are playing, and they were kicking some butt, even though they're getting jobbed here in this third quarter. A lot of no calls. My man Brolo's getting fouled. Grayson Allen, I don't like you, but you make shots. We'll take it, Grayson Allen. We'll take it, Grayson Allen. My least favorite Buck, but he is making threes tonight, and we need him to. So good times, great oldies. Rick, how are you doing?
Doing okay.
Woo! All right. So anyway, we'll get into Packer stuff in a little bit. Let's start off with the Bucks because they're playing as we speak. Now, earlier in the week, this was not supposed to be an ABC game. I thought it was still like not going to be watchable for me. And all of a sudden, the Bulls won a game, and Chris Middleton got hurt, and everybody's like, it's in Chicago and the Bulls. Let's put it on ABC. And I think that's what happened, unless I'm mistaken. But Sunday's game is on ABC. But the Bucks are crushing them tonight right now. 78-54 Bucks lead with 2:43 to go in the third quarter. And no Chris Middleton, but Grayson Allen's playing a lot, making shots. Brook Lopez is doing his thing, getting fouled all the time. No calls. Hey, Brookie for two. Nice turnaround from my man Brolo. Giannis is doing all right. Holiday's being aggressive, screwing up a little bit, but not too bad. And I like the way all these guys are playing. Portis chipping in. Also Carter. I like this Carter cat. He's aggressive. He's speedy. Takes care of the ball well. So I like it. What do you think, Rick? Did you watch any of the first two games?
No, I was just following the game on my phone, Gamecast.
Okay. Well, let me give you the quick big deal here, and why. Even though I understand Chris Middleton is an all-star, and I understand Chris Middleton is some other things for the Bucks and a shot maker, Chris Middleton was very bad in the first two games, and so his loss currently isn't that big of a deal because he turned the ball over 11 times in two games, and then he hurt his knee late in the second game, and now he's out for a while. And the first game he shot terribly. Him and Holiday shot like trash. And the second game of the series against the Bulls, he shot a little better, but didn't take that many shots. So Chris Middleton hasn't really been much of a factor other than sloppy offensive ball handling and turnovers in the first two games. So it's not that big of a loss for the rest of this series. So Chris Middleton, feel better. When you come back, just shoot jumpers and make them, and don't try to dribble and pass too much, because when you do that, you get in trouble. So that's my advice for Chris Middleton, and the Bucks will be fine.
Sounds good.
But they're playing aggressive. Super Pat's in there, and Grayson Allen's got 17 points, maybe 20 points now. He's made a bunch of threes, so he's not gonna win.
I'll agree with your assessment that Grayson's not my favorite Buck. But it's kind of poetic justice in a way that now the Bucks have a guy who can do to the Bulls what the Bulls did to everybody else through most of the 90s. They can take questionable, maybe cheap shots at people and irritate the crap out of everybody. So, give them a taste of their own medicine.
Well, if he can make shots, I'll take him, because we need guys that can make open threes, because Giannis gets guys a lot of open three looks. So we need dudes that can shoot and make the open three, and he's making them. He's going off the dribble, too. Jesus. Nice finish. Grayson Allen and one. Oh, my God. Grayson Allen. All right. Maybe I kind of like him now. I'm going to forgive him for what he got away with against the Badgers as a freshman in college in the national title game, which was total garbage. But I'm going to forgive him now that he's helping the Bucks win. All right. I'm on board.
And you should know that Lopez isn't going to get the calls. Come on.
Oh, my God. Brooke got fouled 5 times on one play before he finally got the foul call. It was crazy.
Yeah.
He's such a huge man. They never call, guys will beat the crap out of him. They don't call anything on him. Of course, you know what that was like down in the post, right?
I feel his pain. He's just lucky he didn't call for the offensive foul. He backs into someone and they fall down and then get the charge.
That's right. All right, we'll get to some talk. I'm sorry, I'll stop just watching the game since we started our show. and I'll just kind of track the game a little bit. I'm drinking a new brew tonight for me. It's Controlled Chaos. Surly's Controlled Chaos. Rick, I've never had this one. Have you had it?
I have not had it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm giving it a winger dinger tonight, and we'll see how it goes. Might be more of a, what was the other winger guy's name? Paul. This might be more of a Paul winger than a Kip winger.
Yeah.
For this one.
I'm drinking a Kolsch that I made myself.
Nice.
So
I gotta come visit you sometime and drink some of your beer that you made.
Yeah.
You know.
We can go to Surly. That's like a mile from my house.
So. Surly?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe 2 miles, but
okay. Good to know.
It's on my way to work.
Ben is supposed to wake up because I just called him and his daughter told him to wake up. So he'll come in, hair disheveled. We have our draft previews next week, draft special next week. We'll be on point because the Bucs won't be playing during our draft special. Even if they are, we'll have to focus on the draft 100%. And draft special will be, of course, first round, Thursday night. We'll be back on Friday night. And then Saturday, we'll wrap up kind of what, the Packers did, and we'll go through late rounds, and we won't spend as much time on, all the stuff. We'll wait till it's basically over so we can just go through what they did in the draft and figure it out. But, Packers got 11 picks this time around, so we'll see what they end up doing and how that all works itself out. Bucs currently lead by 30 now, 87-57. Giannis pull up 3 from the top of the key, and he airballed it. Well, okay, Giannis. Maybe that wasn't the best.
That might be too much for them to pee away this game.
But the Bulls fans are celebrating the air ball. That's about the only thing they've been able to celebrate tonight at United Center. Suck on that, Bulls fans in United Center.
I will say going into this draft, it's the first time in a while that I don't have to worry about the Raiders screwing up their draft picks because I already did it before the draft.
Do the Raiders have a first-round pick this year?
No, they got only 3 or 4 picks in the whole thing, and it's not even until late in the 3rd round.
Was one of the picks they gave up for Adams, was that a first rounder this year? Is that right?
First and a second this year.
Okay. That's right. My mistake. I should remember that. That's the 22nd pick. That's the one that a lot of people think the Packers are going to select a wide receiver on. And Ben was supposed to do the research on the wide receivers and come with us. And also Ben tonight, when he gets on here, is going to do a mock draft, a Ben's mock draft, to show you with the factor of the RAS, the relative athletic score that Goody loves so much, to see how that might change what you think the Packers will do. We're gonna take he found a mock draft that more heavily weighed the RAS. So that might be a better indication what will actually happen, what the Packers will actually do than versus what you would expect in a normal mock draft.
Does that screw up everyone else's picks or just the Packers?
I don't know. I'm not sure. How many people go straight RAS with their draft picks?
So let's talk tests here for a minute with this draft thing.
Okay.
Now, I get it, the RAS. If you're actually taking the test, that's great. But how many tests have you taken where you can do one question and you still get an A?
You still get a score.
So if you got some dude who's really fast, he runs a 40 and doesn't do anything else and he knocks it out of the park. Or you get some dude that sucks, he's slow, but he can bench 3 cows. So he knocks the bench press out of the park, gets 99th percentile, and he tests like crazy. He doesn't do 3/4 of the test. I think they should get an incomplete, not a 9.99 whatever. It's a bunch of crap.
That's a fair point. There are a number of those guys that skip certain drills because for whatever reason.
Drills. Some of these guys are doing one thing.
The other thing I don't like about it, and we'll show you as we look at them a little bit later, is that there's some guys that get heavily. So part of the RAS is actually height and weight as well, right? And so that can really bring guys' overall score down, and you're just kind of but everything else is elite, but maybe their height and weight isn't is poor or something or on the lower side. And so then they get a lower score, and I'm just kind of well, if I'm looking for a little receiver that can be impactful and be fast and dynamic, and he is elite at everything, but he's short and a little light, I don't think that's shit. I don't know. I mean, I get it if an offensive lineman is really small, okay, fine. They're probably going to struggle. But for like a bunch of positions, if a guy's a little undersized but is great at everything, I don't think it should be that big of a deal.
Well, how about corners that don't take the 3-cone?
Yeah, that's
should be required for some positions.
It's ridiculous. That one is totally ridiculous. And certain guys that don't do the shuttle and stuff like that when it's a position where you gotta change direction. Like that's a big part of your job is changing direction and being shifty. Hey,
Speaking of being shifty,
look at changing direction and being shifty.
Yeah, number 1.
Hey Ben, Bobby just made a big 3 at the end of the third. Now the Bucks are like ahead 91-57 going into the fourth quarter. I think they'll take care of business here. I think there's going to be a Thanasis Antetokounmpo sighting pretty soon.
Woo!
For the final quarter of this game. Anyway, how you doing, bro? Sorry to wake you up. Okay, he's not awake yet. All right, sorry. I'll check the comments. I haven't been paying attention. Hey, Zero's here. Zero, how you doing? Sorry. Oh, Zero has a question about Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen can get through the game without getting a technical foul. Yes, he can. And he's getting through the game, making a whole bunch of threes, which is good. Grayson Allen has the same mindset as Ndamukong Suh. That is very likely. But Grayson Allen is the first Allen that the Bucks have had that can make an outside shot in a long time. So we'll just have to take it. We'll just have to deal with it. He's making lots of threes. We will deal with it. Ben, should Chris Middleton ever pass or dribble? That's an easy question.
Is this a trick question?
No, it's an easy question. Should Chris Middleton pass or dribble?
He should never dribble.
Never dribble and only pass, not pass off the dribble either, because he had, before he got hurt, because now he's out with the MCL strain and all that, before he got hurt, he had
27 turnovers?
11 or 12 turnovers. No, 12 turnovers in the first 2 games.
Yeah, well,
So-
that sounds like Chris Middleton. He's not that good. I mean,
And And Holiday had a bunch of turnovers too. The problem is Chris Middleton should just shoot. He's really good at shooting. Just shoot, Chris Middleton. So when you come back, just shoot. Anyway, Bucks are ahead 90-59 at this moment, starting the fourth quarter. Bobby Porter's playing hard. There you go, Bobby. Way to go. Ben, you would have loved it watching this game. Brook Lopez getting fouled about 20 times. He got 1 foul call for him. So,
it's
you would
terrible.
Rick can feel the pain here. All right, we got some draft talk coming up. Packers swinging it in. Let's swing it over to football. I'll update you on the final score when the Bucks finish it off. But
Hey,
again, commanding lead.
you didn't use my setup transition when I was talking about these tests.
Oh, I'm
Preparing
sorry.
for the draft.
I'm sorry.
We-
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So there's a couple of important things to highlight for the draft special because we know opening round of the draft is kind of a lagging, boring time when we're supposed to wait and see, will the Packers trade up to the number top 10? And we don't know. And do something crazy. And while we're waiting around for that, and we're also waiting for Viking Mo to come on and make fun of whatever pick the Vikings select, then we have to anyway, Bobby Porter just made 2 threes, but he missed that last one. When we get to that, we're going to have some time. And so Nick challenged us to do the Wonderlick. Rick is going to administer the Wonderlick. Ben and I will take the Wonderlick on the draft party first round show on Thursday night. And you will find out, and we will find out, who's smarter, Vince Young or Ben.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I
still don't understand how it's going to happen.
The only thing is, Ben, are you going to do any Wonderlick prep? Because those football players did a bunch of prep.
No.
I'm going to do the same thing I do for this show. 0 prep.
Me too. I'll probably be sleeping during the test.
I have no idea what's on the Wonderlick. I don't know what it's all about. I haven't researched it. The only thing I really knew was the name and that football players took it and that Vince Young got one of the lowest scores of all time, 6. So I'm hoping I beat him. Jeff George was also bad at like 9 or 10. And an average quarterback score is like 23, I guess. I don't think we'll get that high.
Here's the thing I don't get.
But-
Hold on.
Yeah, what's up?
Is this thing like so? Like, is Rick going to be like reading us a question and then we have to answer it, or
We're
how is this going to work?
we're working on this.
One of us might have to go in the booth.
Quite understand this.
One of us might have to go in the booth while the other one takes a test.
Well, I understand that part, but
okay, all right.
What if
I
Rick
think we might do a screen share.
or what if he reads really slow?
I think we'll do a screen share thing. So, like, I'll have it up, and one of you can take it, and the other one comes in. We just do it via screen share.
And it's probably better for me if Rick reads the questions to me. I don't know, rather than me trying to read.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's all right. We got some days to figure that out. Anyway, there's some other things on the horizon we're working on. We'll see how that goes. I'm waiting to hear back on a couple of business deals and proposals.
Whoa.
And if that comes through, there might be a big breaking piece of information from Hafeman Bros. But otherwise, there is one big breaking piece of information, and that is I finally got the trophy from Ben. I'm going to do this right now. Get rid of you guys. Finally got the trophy right here. Hafeman Fantasy Football Consolation Toilet Trophy. Ben won this the first year. Come on, camera, focus up. I know it's hard with the lighting. Ben won it in 2020, and right below him, I won it in 2021. That is the consolation bracket prize for the Hafeman Bros League, and I'm really excited to have the trophy now. Yes, right where it belongs. Number 2, with the fan of number 2. All right, Ben, what do you got for the draft? Did you look up any receivers this week?
No.
What will the Packers do? What will Goody do in the first round? Some people are saying your guy, Jahan Dodson, is the person the Packers will take at 22. Is that going to happen?
No.
Why not?
No. Because he has a 6-point-something RAS score. Goody will not do that. No freaking way.
Bruce is here. Bruce is here to get some education. Bruce will. The Packers are going to take. I think they'll take him. I think they should take him. Let me just say that. I think they should. I was watching a bunch of stuff on receivers this week, and I watched him and watched game film of the guy. I don't care what his scores were. I watched game film of the guy, and he does like he can do a stutter at times, like Adams, except he does it in like half the time. He does it way quicker. And he changes direction. He's such a smooth runner that he can change, he can cut and make like double moves without slowing down. So even though he doesn't have elite speed, he's a guy that can get by people on a second move or on like a slow go or something like that because he's really good at making an abrupt move without slowing down or losing any speed. It's pretty impressive. So I do believe the Packers should draft him. And I kind of I want an offensive lineman at the first pick, and then their second pick of the first round, maybe get that guy. But there's other people. He's on other people's radars. I looked at other teams. The Bears are talking about him. The Jets, the Giants, like other people are talking about. A lot of interest in Jahan Dodson. So, the Packers might have to take him with that Raider pick to get him.
I don't think
know.
so.
It kind of depends on how the wide receivers come off the board, but Zero thinks Goody will trade picks for players. Well, Zero, why do you think that?
Kadarius Toney.
Goody likes his picks, man. You know that. Goody thinks he knows the guys to pick.
Oh, he could trade down. He could trade down and get a whole bunch of 4th and 5th rounders.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they know there's serious needs at players that they can plug in, offensive line and receiver. So those are some big needs right now, and they got to get players that are going to play.
Yeah, I mean, certainly they need. What they traditionally have done for the last however many years, I think really needs to go out the window this time because they're not in the same position that they've been in all that time. Where right now they need guys that can step in and play right now. as you've said a number of times, right? They need a receiver that can make a difference now. They can't get a guy that's draft and develop for 3 years. They can't draft offensive linemen that are going to be draft and develop for 3 years, right? So whoever they pick needs to be somebody that's going to be able to come in, make an impact, and help them right now. And that is a lot different direction than they normally take. Even with their early picks, look at their early picks the last few years. These were guys that they weren't counting on to be a step in week one automatic starter. So I guess I hope they don't, go for the best available and draft someone who, defensive players, great. If they get one of the top defensive interior linemen for their first pick, sure, that'll help. But I just don't see that being the need right now based on the huge holes they have at receiver and offensive line. So I think they just need to not do what they've been doing for a long time because the circumstances are so much different this time around.
Yeah, people are going to be surprised if they don't take a receiver right away, but I think, they are so much, taking a guy who they have a first-round grade on only. So if there's like receivers that they don't have a first-round grade on, like there's a run of receivers and they can't make a move to go get one that they really want, then, which I think they need a guy like Jahan Dodson, because he's a guy that, and rumors were and talk is from like Green Bay media too, that they really like him. But do they have a first-round grade on him is the question. I don't know. And if they don't, will they pass on him and take, try to hope they can get him in the second round? I don't know. But he's a player that can come in and play and be reliable, which is what the Packers need. They need a reliable receiver who's also very good. And will he ever be like a super stud receiver? Probably not. He's only 5'11". He's a little on the light side. He might put on some weight, whatever. But, he's a guy that is an instant starter, wide receiver 1, maybe wide receiver 2 for sure level. And he's a guy that can be on the field all the time.
Well, and I think that it's not just getting any receiver. They need someone who's going to complement the few guys that they have already.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's something else you guys have talked about. A lot of people have talked about. But the receivers they have now are all kind of more optimal for the same role, right? They don't have a true outside guy or a true just go over the top guy. If Sammy fits in somewhere and they can use him, great. That gives him a little bit of flexibility for as cheaply as they've signed him. I think it's a great pickup, right? It's costing them next to nothing.
That's crazy how cheap it was. $350,000 guaranteed. That's it. Oh my God.
And the guy's not that old, right? 27, 28, something like that.
I got to look him up here.
So I think that takes a little bit of the pressure off, but it's not someone who's coming in off hot seasons either. But they still need someone who's going to be able to be a true receiver number one. Or you can't have a bunch of little shifty over the middle gimmick sort of guys. If they get somebody else who's a decent possession receiver, route runner, short yardage sort of guy, can they find a crusty old guy who's got some speed just to be the fourth receiver for the deep threat when you need it? Can you get Deshaun Jackson for something cheap too? Where I'm not just soft on him because he was a former Raider, but he's not the kind of guy that you'd want to be an every down player for you, but situationally, I think he's still got enough wheels. He could be the deep threat they need for situational sets, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. But gonna be curious to see what they do. I really hope they don't botch it. I think the Adams deal left them in a position where they can succeed. It's not a complete rebuild, but they need to be smart about what they're doing, and they do need to do something to address the hole that's left. So.
Now, I think, Ben, are you awake yet?
I'm trying to share the screen, but it won't let me do it.
That doesn't make any sense. You should be able to do it.
I don't know why it never lets me do it.
All you got to do is share screen, and then
That's what I'm doing.
it should go and pop up, and then you do your browser and you pick which one you want to share, and you should be good to go, man.
It's not doing it. So
Okay, well, tell me what you want to do. Screen share it was canceled. Make sure you click share on the model and then cancel. Okay. Let me know. So here's a couple of names I was thinking of. This is what I think. I think the Packers should actually, with that first pick, I think they should go O-line. What do you guys think of that? And you know who I want? I want Zion Johnson. I watched some stuff on that guy. Boston College offensive lineman. He's a guard. He's fast. He's athletic. He's powerful. He's got wide base, active feet. He's got a little hitchy, weird kind of stance, which people are saying, oh, that's weird. But he's got, I don't care. There have been plenty of guys with weird stances that have been really good players. And he's got, like, really good everything. And he's got power and athleticism. So I would love to see, personally, Zion Johnson. Like, let's say everything plays out and they don't move picks or whatever and go up and try to make a play at one of these, top flight wide receivers. I think you could get Zion Johnson with the first pick, and then I think you could follow it up and get Jahan Dodson with the second pick, and then you'd have a damn good first round right there. That's what I hope happens. I don't know what you think about that.
Sounds like a good strategy, but Green Bay's not going to take a guard in the first round.
Come on. Zero doesn't like it, but what? I don't know. Ben, don't you think Jahan Dodson will still be there at pick 29?
I don't know. Am I sharing this or not?
Yep, it's on there now. I can pull it on here.
Okay, let's go back to talk about receivers.
All right, we'll talk about all of it. First round.
Here's the thing. Jahan Dodson. Let's take a look at something real quick. You see this right here?
Yep.
You see that right there?
Yeah. RAS.
RAS 6.31. That equals not drafted by Goody.
But do you know why? But mostly that's
not drafted by Goody.
But mostly that lower RAS is because of his height and his weight.
Don't care.
Okay.
He will not be drafted by Goody. Let's take a look at another one that everybody's talking about. Traylon Burks. 5.79.
Ooh.
That's fat and slow. No.
Hey, that's me. I'm fat and slow. I'm almost 6'2" and 225.
We don't want Traylon Burks. Let's take a look at Drake London. Oh, yeah, he didn't test at the combine. Nobody knows what he is. That's called big and slow. No. Let's take a look at Chris Olave. 8.67. That's a Goody guy.
Okay.
However, this part, 187 and 6 feet tall, is not a Goody guy.
No, it's not.
So that's not a guy either. So we're taking Olave out, Drake London out, Traylon Burks out, Jahan Dodson out, Christian Watson can't catch.
He's a guy from North Dakota State.
Look at there. 6'4", 200 pounds, 9.96. That's a Goody guy.
Goody like that. Goody likey.
So first round's going to be taking a safety or a linebacker, and then
inconsistent hands, but that's all I'm saying. Let's take a look at Alec Pierce.
It's fair point, 0.
6'3", 211, 9.82. That's a Goody. This is a Goody draft guy right here.
You got iffy hands, though, right?
Well, they're better than Christian Watson's. And then George Pickens, who's hurt. But 6'3", almost 200 pounds, 9.3. These are the Goody guys. Pickens, Pierce, Watson. On this draft simulator, they're all in the second round. On the other draft simulator, they're all in the second round. Or later.
Okay.
Second or third round. So what does that tell us, everybody?
trade your first picks down.
Well, no. Go with something else. And what is Jason talking about? Guard? There's 2 guards everybody's talking about. Kenyon Green.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
Well, here's the reason why I don't like him. Want to take a look? 5.93 RAS score.
No, that's not why I don't like him. I don't like him because he's got skinnier legs, a bigger gut, and he doesn't have a wide enough base. His legs are too close together, and he doesn't have enough power generated with that either. So here, I'll tell you the old lineman I like. I
Here's your
think
guy.
he's the guy.
Look at his 9.74. That's
He's the
guy.
guy. That's the guy.
It's all. It comes down to the RAS score. That's the Goody number. Everybody, it's that simple. Zion Johnson, if he's there, could be a Goody guy.
He's the guy.
Kenyon Green, not a Goody guy. Everybody, but look at this guards after Kenyon Green. It's like 53, 74. It's rough on this particular thing.
Here's a couple other offensive linemen. See, tell me where these guys are supposed to go.
Okay, tell me.
Charles Cross, I like him.
He's way up top here.
He is?
Oh yeah.
Charles Cross is way up the hill up there.
Oh, he's right here, 13.
13.
Jeez Louise. Okay,
this is on the 7.57.
He's got really good base and really good feet, and he's strong.
Yes.
And then Dylan Parham.
Dylan Parham is considered a guard or a center, maybe.
He's
on some of these boards.
He's also a guy that I like a lot too.
I like him too, but this particular draft guide has him really low.
So he's a guy you might be able to get later.
Yeah, look at this. They got him way at 244. Well, here's the thing. On PFF, they got him rated at like 67. It's crazy. Like,
wow.
When you go to these, and I kind of wanted to talk about that too, is how there's these two draft boards that I go to. This one, which is Pro Football Network, and then the other one is the PFF. And there's guys like Dylan Parham, for instance, who is rated so different. Like, it's crazy. But he's got a RAS at 8.78. This is a Goody type guy. So where is he going to go? Is he a third day guy like it is on here on this one in like late third day, or is he a second day guy is what like PFF is saying about Dylan Parham? The thing I like about him is he can play any position. I mean, I think he's your Lukey Patrick guy, who comes in for Lukey Patrick and is your guy who can do whatever you need him to do. So is that going to be a third round pick, or is that going to be a fifth round pick? I don't know. Based on this draft, it's a fifth round or sixth round pick. Based on the other one, it's a second round pick. So who knows? But I like him too, from what I've seen on tape and from what I read about him. But who's going to go with that? I don't know.
And there's one other guy, one other offensive lineman I like, Cam Jurgens. I like him.
Cam Jurgens. Huh?
He's got great feet, and he's got good power, and I think he moves extremely well, and he's a finisher guy.
Where does he play?
Is he the guy out of Nebraska? Maybe I can't remember. But he's like a day two guy, I think, is what I read. That he's more projected. So those are like later round guys that could come in and be. Because look, the O line. Let's lay it out, right? Because everybody still wants to focus on wideouts, but the O line is Bakhtiari still. We don't know. Jenkins, we don't know. How is he going to be coming off the injury? We got Lucas Patrick is gone. We got Myers. Okay, fine. He's okay. We got Royce, and we don't know what we got at right tackle. Although they did sign Yash back to the crappy contract and not the smart contract. Yep. And so now they have him for one more year. And, maybe they'll try him out and see if he can make him pay a bunch of money after this year. I don't know. But that's kind of the situation. So the offensive line has almost as many question marks as the receivers do. And O-linemen usually get injured a lot more than receivers. So I don't know. Like we need some O-linemen. Like we got to get some good. We probably should try to get a couple of top flight O-linemen for a change, and then also get some like good versatile guys in the mid rounds like the Packers normally try to do.
I suspect they'll go more for prototypical tackles that they can force inside to play everywhere rather than picking interior linemen and trying to make them play tackle.
Right. if Zion Johnson is staring him in the face at their first pick, they should take him. He's that good. Bruce says we don't need a tackle in this draft. Bach is tied up in big money. Jenkins can play both guard spots, and Yash can play both tackle spots. Well, Yash can't play both tackle spots at the same time, and Jenkins can only play one guard spot at a time, Bruce. So, just a quick heads up on that.
Not only that, how much is Jenkins going to cost if they keep playing him at right tackle all the time? He's going to be like, hey, I'm a tackle. And he's going to want Bakhtiari money.
It's all contingent on both those guys coming back and being healthy.
Yeah, no kidding. We need offensive line help, period.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know.
So I'm just telling you, like, that guy shores up. Number one, if you drafted Johnson, he's your instant starter at guard spot. If Jenkins is back, great. Then you have like dominant guards, and hopefully Bakhtiari's back, and hopefully you are smart enough to start Yash at right tackle, and your offensive line looks pretty damn good. So just that one elite guy that plug him in, he's going to be great. That makes your offensive line loads better if those other things happen. If you still have problems with Jenkins coming back or Bakhtiari's still hurt or whatever's going on, then you at least have fewer holes to deal with. The Bucs just capped off their win against the Bulls 111-81. So everybody that all of a sudden was like, oh, my God, the Bucs are in trouble. Yeah, okay, whatever.
This is my guy that I want.
Who do you want? Devontae Wyatt? Oh, okay. I didn't look at much at him.
9.58 RAS score, 6'2", 304. Think of a quicker, faster Mike Daniels. That's this guy.
So you think D-tackle in the first round? Is that what you do at the first pick?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but Jerry Montgomery said that they're hopeful to get a defensive lineman in the draft who can help on interior pass rush situations. And there aren't that many guys that can do that. Period. Much less actually that you can get in the draft. And out of all the guys that can do it, you need a guy who's got some size, quickness, speed, agility, all that kind of stuff. This is the guy. He's older. He's 24 or whatever, but that's something I want to get into too. Like, you know how the Packers always draft these young guys, and then they're going to draft and develop and draft and develop and draft and develop, right?
Yep.
Well, there's one thing we're learning from all these wide receiver contracts that everybody wants a gazillion dollars.
That are crazy.
Is that you're drafting a guy, and then for 2 years you're developing him, or sometimes 3 years you're developing him, and he is not playing for you for the first 2 to 3 years. And then finally he plays, and he's good, and then he plays another year, and then you got to pay him big-time dough. And then you can't pay other guys that you might want to have that are good players. What if, I don't know, maybe I'm just an idiot, you draft players that are good right away that you don't have to develop, and you pay them on their rookie contracts to play right away. Maybe their upside is not as high as these 21-year-olds that have all the talent and all the physical skills but don't know what the hell they're doing. But their floor is way, 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 way higher as well, that you know what you're getting, and you can play that guy on a smaller contract right away. You utilize that money from the start, and he contributes from the start. And then when his contract comes up later, first of all, he's showing a projection of everything you've seen over the years, so you know exactly what you're paying for, as opposed to the draft and develop where you don't really know, like, oh, he had one good year, should we pay him big money? Then you have the whole Baker Mayfield thing where it's like, is he good or is he bad? Is he good or is he bad? We don't know, so we're going to just forget about it, right? And the Packers do that too much, where they draft these guys, young guys, hope they do good, and then they don't play him or whatever it is. And, like, I would rather take a guy like Wyatt, who I know is going to come in and play well, he has the possibility to be a Pro Bowler, period. Right from the start, because he's shown it on the tape. He's shown that he can do those things. Why don't they do that more? Why don't they take the guy who's going to play right away and be awesome? Luckily, listen, we got lucky with Jenkins. You know, Elton Jenkins is that, right? He came in. He's a solid player right from the start, and that's great. Jair was pretty good from the start.
Man, although everybody's saying, pay the man, pay that Jair.
But
pay him.
I just, and I get it, because everybody says how great he is, but I don't. I mean, I think Douglas is better, period.
And Jair's going to want, Jair hears it all too, and he want top dollar. He want to reset the cornerback market, that Jair. And I told, actually, if you go back to, I don't know, one of our early first shows and the first year, I was saying that about Jair Alexander right away. This seems like a guy to me that if he's good, he's going to want lots of money for that to keep him on the team after that rookie contract is up. And that's probably what's going down right now. And so you, as the Packers, have to ask yourself, okay, you just gave your quarterback top dollar. You just gave left tackle top dollar. You just gave Kenny Clark D tackle top dollar. You just signed Devondre Campbell big dollar. You just did all that stuff. And you signed back a good corner for a reasonable amount. Do you want to go top dollar again at another position that you've already invested a first-round pick last year and you signed a guy to a 3-year contract who's good? I don't know that you want to do that. Maybe that means you draft another cornerback again early. I don't even know. Let's draft another corner.
Here's the guy I really like right here. Joshua Williams. 6'2", 195, a 9.4 RAS score. He was a wide receiver his first 3 years in high school and kind of stunk, and they moved him to corner, and then he dominated. Then he went to this small little school and dominated. And you might say, well, he hasn't proved it on the big, stage and blah, blah, blah. And okay, I'm not saying draft him in the first round. I'm saying draft him in the 5th round. He's got the size. He's like Kevin King with speed and better hands because he played wide receiver. He makes big plays. This is the kind of guy I'm looking for. And you can get him super cheap. He's not even on the PFF draft board. Like, he's not even on the list to draft. And they have like 600 deep players. They don't even have him on there for some reason. At least this one has him on. And I was like, because I was doing some studying on him. And then, of course, we all know I like this guy for his punt return and kick return ability. He's super small, though, 5'8", 174. But who cares? He's going to be your punt kick return guy. These are two guys that when I do mock drafts, I draft them all the time. They always fall to me. I get them in late rounds, all that kind of stuff. I think what happens is, I want to stop sharing this crap. I don't know how to do it. Did I just do it? Did you do it for me? Good. I just say, like, when we're doing. There's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of players out there. And in this draft window the window we have with Rodgers, I just don't want to see him do the whole draft and develop crap for this year. Draft guys who can play now, especially in the early rounds. Draft solid, good players who are going to contribute and be starters in spots that you need them to be starters in. And then later on, we can get a guy like I just showed you, Joshua Williams, who's got huge upside. That's where you take your upside. You don't take an upside guy in the first round who you don't know what you're going to get, like an Eric Stokes. Luckily, we got lucky. He's okay. Of course, he sucks when the ball's in the air, doesn't know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the kind of stuff that Goody needs to do this year. Follow your RAS score. Follow what you're doing. Make perfect sense. Understand what type of player can come in and be a contributor now, and then make the difference between you losing in the playoffs again and you're winning now. And Jahan Dodson is one of those guys. You said he's a great player,
I like him.
but he's not a high res, RAS score. But
No.
he's a guy who you come in right now, he's going to play and he's going to make plays.
Yep.
Same thing with Chris Olave. If they draft him, he's going to come in and he's going to make plays right away. He's not going to be a greatest blocker in the world, but now you got Sammy Watkins. I saw something on Facebook today. Somebody put out of the top 5 blocking wide receivers in the NFL last year, Al Nazard is number 5, though I don't know what they're looking at because a lot of times I saw him miss blocks. And they said Sammy Watkins is the number 1 receiver blocking in the NFL. So we got the 2 of the top 5 blocking receivers in the NFL.
Those are PFF grades, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I figured out about PFF. I don't know, how reliable their ratings are for certain things, but blocking, they're not very good at determining ratings for blocking because once again, they had Billy Turner rated higher than Lucas Patrick each of the last 2 years, which is categorically false and just plain false in every possible way false could be. So I think their deficiency for sure lies in understanding how to rate blockers because they clearly don't know how to do that. So it also makes me wonder about their blocker rating for wide receivers. Anyway, hopefully Sammy Watkins can be okay. Ben, I have a theory. Rick, what do you think about this theory? I think it's time, and I don't know which round you get this guy in, 3rd round, and I know it'd be kind of weird because the Packers are probably a little scared after drafting a wide receiver in the 3rd round. But I think it's time to go back to the University of Kentucky and get a little receiver from the University of Kentucky who's even more dynamic than the one you drafted last time, and Wandale Robinson. That dude's shifty and fast and quick. And, yeah, he's small. He's freaking small as hell, 5'8", 178 pounds. But he runs really well in space, gets away from people, has great field vision, could also be a return guy, which you've had so many problems with returners forever. That's a guy I think you could get in like 3rd, 4th round, and he could be an impactful guy too. And you're going to need 2 impactful receivers in this draft. Not like, hey, they're going to be super dynamic, but 2 guys that can play and fill roles and make an impact on the team. One that's super reliable. That's why you need Dotson. And the other guy that's more dynamic and can kind of create something different that nobody on the team can do. And that would be my Wandale Robinson pick. What do you think about that?
Well, I think if he could make an immediate impact on special teams, that'd be great. But again, going back to – sorry, my dog is kind of spazzing out here. Look at what they have available for receivers now. How many little shifty guys are you going to put out there? Right? I mean, who do they have that, goal line situations going for a jump ball? Right? You can't have a bunch of guys who are like 5'9", 5'10", and shifty, and some of them slow, some of them old. Right? I mean, I realize you need to also coach and play with the guys you have, right? I mean, you need to build a strategy to play to their strengths. But at this point, I think they also need to try to get some guys that are going to be able to be utilized in different ways and not just have 5 receivers that are all the same guy. But it'd be nice if one of the guys they have could be a returner so they don't have to go find somebody who can return on top of finding true receivers. So I guess we can return. Cool.
Well, Rick, we had they had receivers that were all the same for years. They were just all big receivers that were basically all the same. And now they're trending on having more shorter receivers that are all the same. But that's what college is putting out right now. I mean, most of the guys are not very big. Like they're 6 feet are like tall guys for a lot of the receivers that are playing in college. Now, a lot of them are sub 6, and they're shiftier and they're smaller and they're not as heavy. They're under 200 pounds. That's what you're seeing in a bunch of the guys here. And I just looked at, okay, you can talk about Sky Moore, you can talk about, the top flight guys, Olave, and who's that other little quick guy from Memphis or whatever. Ben, you know his name, the guy, the 3rd.
That's who I was going to talk about next, because your guy is got a 7.32 RAS score. Kelvin Austin the 3rd is the guy from Memphis who's 5'7", 170. And he's a 9.06 RAS score.
Oh.
Who ran a 4.340 and is quicker and jukier than anybody else. Plus, the thing that's really interesting is he lined up at the outside wide receiver most of the time. He didn't play the slot. He still beat his man and ran routes as the outside receiver, going up for jump balls. And, kind of like Double D used to do. Now, Double D was 6 feet tall. This guy's only 5'7", so there's that's a 5-inch difference there. But still, I think Kelvin Austin III is a much better player than, Wandale Robinson. Now,
what?
If you want to take a guy in the 7th round, sure. But I would
rather 7th round,
Kelvin Austin III into the 3rd round or the 4th round.
Oh,
and he'll be just as a dynamic player and even better. Sorry, dude.
Well, come on. Look, I'm just saying I looked at the guy. You have other needs. You have other places to fill. And the Packers are not going to, let's be real here, they're not going to go receiver, like off the top of the draft. So I was looking at a guy who could be impactful and had very good speed and had very good numbers. But when I watched him play and I watched the highlights of him on the field, he got open quickly. He also was really good at navigating, through traffic after the catch. So he's a guy that can do something with the ball after he catches it, what the Packers have not had in a very long time, right? They haven't had a receiver that can catch and do something with it. And he was a guy to me that he went after the ball, even though he's only 5'8", like he attacked the football. So I was impressed by all those things. When I looked at his actual height, I was surprised he was only 5'8", because he played a lot bigger. You know how Lazard's 6'5", but he plays like he's 6'1"? Yeah. This guy was like 5'8", but he plays like he's 6'1" or 6'2". I liked it about him. So maybe he's not as good as the other dude, Austin the third, but he's also not going to cost you as high of a pick. And I think he could be pretty impactful.
Well, there's another guy, Kelvin Austin from Notre Dame, who I like, who's not small. He's 6'2", 200 with a 9.9 RAS score.
Whoa.
And he's going in like late rounds. Like in both of the mock drafts, in the one I showed earlier and the PFF one, he's like a 5th, 6th round pick. But he's got the size in weight and in height. And he ran a 4.43 40-yard dash. And he's got all the things like that, George Pickens, Christian Watson, all those guys have, but better hands. And he went to a school like Notre Dame, so he's not a complete moron. So, that's the thing that bothers me is when everybody's talking about these guys with all this upside, but haven't proved it, are inconsistent, all that kind of stuff. When there's guys who we can get later on who are undervalued, who can contribute now and do that same job, and they'd be more, maybe they're not as fast, right? But they're dang close to being as fast. And he's another one, Kelvin Austin from Notre Dame, who I think could be a really good player that you can get later on. Like these wide receivers, the thing that everybody's talking about is it's like using all these first-round picks on receivers. There's so many dang receivers that are they're all basically like almost at the same level. They're all great, except for I would say that Jameson Williams guy or whatever. That guy is nuts. But he's coming off an injury, so is that something that you really want to worry about? I don't know. But he's a guy who just kind of every play is like a dang highlight super reel. Like he's just doing unbelievable things against super hard competition before he got hurt.
Let's ask Rick.
He's the only guy that I would take in the first round super high. Everybody else, I'd be like, you forget it. You can get other guys that are very similar to Chris Olave and all these, Drake London, big, tall, slow guy. Okay, awesome. You can get that later. And we already have that. We have Sammy Watkins and Alan Lazard right now. Do we need another guy like that? No.
This is not. I'm not nearly as impressed by the offensive linemen in this draft as I was in last year's draft. And the Packers chose to not go for some guys in last year's draft that I think could have been good. So, like, if they don't get one of these top dudes that I've mentioned before, then I think then they got to just hold off and grab some guys later on, and that are hopefully they can develop or whatever. Because after you get past a handful of those guys, they're not very good. Let's talk about one guy I'm not that impressed with. Rick, do you know the guy from offensive line? You know the guy that everybody's high on, this head and pin guy, University of Northern Illinois. Is that it? Or I can't remember which. Who is it, Ben? Tell me. You know the guy.
I don't know. What
You
you're
know the
talking about.
guy. Come on, the guy that everybody says is so nasty. And from the little,
Oh.
like, University of Northern Illinois, or which school is it? Help me
It's
out.
not
Is that the
Henry.
guy that's like really raw, but
Hennings, maybe. Give me his name. God dang it, my brain sucks right now. Sorry, everybody.
I don't know what you're talking about.
this is the
Fine.
guy that's like really raw, bad technique, but would still just dominate guys? Or is that somebody else?
There's a guy who was at the man, we suck at this show. He was
I'm
at
sorry.
the,
Not very good.
whatever
I'm getting his name
Senior
here.
Bowl. He destroyed dudes left and right.
Here he
Bruce
is.
knows. Come on, Bruce, tell us. You know what his
Trevor
name is.
Penning. Trevor Penning. Sorry, Trevor
Yeah.
Penning. Okay, he's
Yeah.
no, and he's 6'7", 325 pounds. Okay, and he is
9.96 RAS score.
yeah, he's this crazy athlete. He's super strong. They show him squatting like 625 pounds. They showed him like, all just throwing guys around and doing all this stuff. He played at a small school though, right? And the one thing, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I hope the Packers steer clear of that guy. I don't think they're even going to have a chance because he's probably going to be off the board by the time they draft. But I don't like him at all because the one thing he's terrible with, his hands. His hands are too wide all the time. He lets guys get into his body all the time.
Wait,
and yeah,
how wide are they? Are they Billy Turner wide?
No, they're not like this, but they're like
Okay.
he's got his hands, and he's going to end up holding a bunch, or he's going to end up just getting manhandled on the pro level. So mark my words, unless somebody can train him up to like fix his hands, which maybe they can, but sometimes those habits are hard to break. At the small school level, it's fine because then he can still grab a guy and throw him to the ground. But in the NFL, he's going to get manhandled. So Penning is not.
I know
I want to steer clear of him.
PFF, they were talking about him, and they were saying that he had a ton of penalties. Like, he's like a penalty machine. And a lot of
Bruce
them are like,
says next Tony.
Yeah.
like personal fouls, not even like holding all the time. It's like, just doing dumb stuff.
Yeah, hot head.
That's not a Packer.
Sort of.
Packers will never take a guy who's a personal foul guy, no matter how good his RAS score is.
Oh, 0. I think he's not as nice as Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love's a nice kid. That's a big difference there. But yeah, that guy, when I saw stuff on him, I was like, I don't want you to touch that guy. That guy, I'm not impressed at all. But he does. He has really good feet. He's super tall, 6'7". He's got size, but terrible with his hands. So I don't care that he can squat 600 plus pounds and did like 30 reps on the bench or whatever. His hands are terrible. He's going to get eaten up at the pro level, 100%.
Yeah, I thought I saw a comment to a Mandrich fly through there.
Yep.
That could certainly be another case of that where a guy, tests great, but doesn't translate to on the field play. But I don't know. Another guy I hope they avoid is the giant guy from my hometown here. Fialia.
Yeah.
He's
He's
a giant dude, but he's pretty rough and raw. Just not doesn't seem to have the skills to go with the size. Which, of course, if he did, then he'd be probably like top 10 talk. But
what do you think his RAS score is, Rick?
3 something.
Yeah, 2.39.
Oh,
Because he's
and
6'8".
that's what the book for
384
being so
pounds.
big too.
He moves like 6'8", 384 pounds. That's the thing. It's great if you could just sit there and be like a giant wall, right?
Can he play D tackle? Be the next Gilbert.
Yeah. But I don't think he'd be a good offensive lineman. He just doesn't have the feet and the lateral movement. Like guys are gonna. I mean, we watched Rick. Not Rick Wagner. Yeah, was it Rick Wagner? No. Who's the guy? Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Dave Bakhtiari lookalike, who's even taller and bigger.
Kelly.
We had him.
Dennis Kelly.
Yeah,
Dennis Kelly.
Dennis Kelly got schooled in the playoffs against Nick Bosa, right? And he just kind of like, it was almost like he was standing still. Can you imagine that, except even, another 45 pounds added on to that guy?
Yeah, I could see the Vikings taking this guy.
I don't know. That'd be funny. I'll tell you this much. Zadarius Smith would really be working on him in the practice.
Woo, Z, he'll make him look good. But then...
No, because Zadarius can't get around this guy. Zadarius sucks against little guys who are quick.
Oh,
not big guys who are fat. He would destroy this guy.
All right, my turn.
My guards and stuff.
Right. Let's take a look at some old linemen, guys. Here, just look at the list. I'm gonna give you my Jason's old lineman talk here because I love old linemen. All right, Evan Neal looks like a monster. Of course, we're gonna have no shot at that guy. I was hoping this cross guy wasn't considered a tackle. Okay, he's gonna be gone. I like this dude from NC State too.
He'll be gone.
Iquanu, but he's out of there. I do not like Kenyon Green. Stay away from that guy. He does not have a good base. Of course, we're not going to worry about some undersized center from Iowa. Trevor Penning, told you stay away from that dude. I don't like this guy too much. He's got some interesting skills, but he was the one that never played. He's from another. He didn't play football until recently, and he was like from another country or something. So he's still learning the game.
He was tight end or something. He's got all the skills to do something. He's
a wide receiver to tackle.
He's going to be like a Yash. Like if they had draft him, he'd sit there and learn for a couple of years. We can't do that. And Yash was an undrafted free agent, not a first-round pick.
Right, Ryman,
come on.
He could be Big Dog's replacement.
I don't like Darian Kennard from Kentucky.
I'm not a fan of him either.
I don't like his base. I don't like his feet. No. This guy from Ohio State, I just don't like guys from Ohio State. Stay from the guy you were just talking about. Zion Johnson on this list, they got him as the 11th rated guy. That could mean he's there for the Packers. If he's there, the Packers should take his ass. I don't love the guy from UCLA either. Let's see who else is next because I want to see what's next on my list here. Okay, I don't know much about this Abraham Lucas guy from Washington State. I'm trying to think of guys I saw. Tyler Smith. Dang it! I didn't love Tyler Smith either. I know he's a tackle, but I don't like his technique. They got a lot to clean up there. This Kellen Deesh guy, not a fan. He's too small for me. 6'7", but under 300 pounds. He's got to gain some weight, and he's another project dude. And then where's my other guy here? Here he is, Dylan Parham. If that guy's there, grab him. Grab him in like the 3rd round or whatever. If he's a 20th rated offensive lineman, okay, that's good value, and that guy could be an elite guard. So if you can't get Zion Johnson, then I'd be happy getting this Parham guy, to fill in and be a starting guard right away. So that's all I wanted.
Better than Royce Newman.
I wanted to check out those dudes.
We can't have another year of Royce Newman at guard.
Gonna be rough if you do.
They got to stop taking these guys who are tackles. They don't understand how to play in a position where things happen quickly, and they don't have the strength and the capabilities to be in in that small area and use their size. When you're a tackle, you have time because guys are trying to get around you, and you're further away from the quarterback and the ball. But when you're at guard, it's like you don't have the time. You have to just get on the guy and then hold and use your strength and size to, fend him off. So yeah, it's great if you can get a guy who's like Royce Newman, who's got great feet and all this kind of stuff. But if he doesn't have the strength to hold up, we saw what happens. He gets his butt kicked in the running game, and he gives up pressure inside all the time, in passing downs. And they got to stop doing this crap where they draft these tackles and try to move them inside just because they think they're going to be good pass protectors. pass protection on the outside is totally different than pass protection on the inside. And I don't know how the Packers don't know this. And it's kind of ridiculous.
It's the same thing that I've complained about, where it's great to have one or two guys that are the jack of all trades that you can plug in anywhere on the line, but you can't have your entire offensive line composed of those guys, right?
But that's what they want. That's all
I
they
know
talk
that's what they
about. Every
want.
time they draft a guy, they're like, this guy's got a lot of versatility. He can play anywhere on the line. Okay, well, and Dylan Parham is one of those guys who's played everywhere on the line, Jace, just so you know.
I know.
But I think he's got a better body and base for guard than he does for tackle. Like, just looking at him. Same thing as we look at Royce Newman. He looks like a tackle. He doesn't look like a guard. Even Runyon Bunyan does that. But, yeah, go ahead, Rick. Sorry, I jumped your gun
that's
there.
fine. I mean, it's when I say the Packers aren't going to draft a guard in the first round, they're going to look for tackles and squeeze them inside. That's not what I think they should do. I think that's what they are going to do.
Yeah.
So just want to clarify that point. But it doesn't make sense. You again, have a couple of these guys. Have your Lucas Patrick, if you don't let him go. Have your Lucas Patrick, have your LG, and then have guys that are really good at what they do. Like, get a tackle who's good at being a tackle. Get a center who's good at being a center. Get a guard who's good at being a guard. I don't know. Maybe it's oversimplifying things, but
I'll tell you two quick things. So just to follow up, since you mentioned Lucas, two things about Lucas. He's never had a home at a spot, so he's had to always learn all these spots, play all these different spots. The Bears are going to let him play center, and I think he's going to be awesome at center. Also, I recut and put out the best play breakdown of all time in Packer history by Ben just this week. And as we looked at that, we looked at those plays that were actually showing how terrible Billy Turner was. Both of those shows incidentally showed how awesome Lucas Patrick was, because on both of the plays that we dissected there, Lucas Patrick was clearly the best offensive lineman on the field on both those plays. So anyway, just a side note.
Corey Lindsey was pretty good.
He actually lost his block, and Lucas Patrick ended up blocking 3 guys on the one run play. But anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
So I did want to say
but
about
he had to
those.
get to the second level. Hey,
Lindsey
had to get to the second level on that first run play. I mean, that's not easy.
So Parham, here's the thing. Parham is like 6'2", 6'3". Zion Johnson is like 6'2" or 6'1" or whatever. They're guards. Those guys are guards, 100%. So they would be guards.
Or center.
Well, yeah, they could probably play, learn to play backup center if you need them to. But those dudes are guards. So, like, you're not drafting, 6'5" or whatever Royce or 6'7" Billy Turner, picking them up on the, on your team and then put them in a guard. No, they're guards. Those dudes are guards, 100%. Let's sneak a peek at this group's wide receivers so we can run through that real quick again. We talked a bit about wide receivers. We'll see how we like these. Ben, Garrett Wilson, is he awesome? Is he like number 1 wide receiver in the draft?
No, he's the jump guy.
Okay.
And somebody left a comment after our jump video, and they were like, oh, jump of the year doesn't mean anything, and blah, 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 and it means he's not going to get hurt. And it's like, it's not about not getting hurt. Right. I was just playing Madden again today, and I threw a ball to a guy, and the stupid receiver jumped in the air when he had like a 3-yard lead on the guy behind him. Jumped in the air to catch the ball, came down, and got tackled right away. If he would have jumped, he would have just caught the damn ball and ran. He would have ran for a damn touchdown. It's the same thing in real life, everybody. When you leave your feet, your momentum slows. Keep your feet chugging, catch the ball in stride, and go.
Yep.
And the fact that he jumped on every single pass in that stinking gauntlet drill is just, it's a weird, I know it's dumb. They never do that. He just doesn't, like, if you compare him, and I don't know why everybody, like, see, and like I said, I thought there was a show where I said Chris Olave stunk. I was wrong. Or I said he ran out of bounds all the time. I don't see that, like, everybody's talking about how great Garrett Wilson is and how Chris Olave is just smooth. They're giving Chris Olave the Ray Allen treatment, by the way. That's how they always just say, well, he's just so smooth that, but he's not, like, dynamic. It's like, he makes plays all the time. Smooth means he's really good. He makes it look like it's not hard. He makes a job that's hard look like it's not hard. That sounds like a pretty good player to me. So when it comes to this, Garrett Wilson, number one, no.
Look at I like these comments by this site. They say in their thing about Garrett Wilson in the summary, he has elite speed, 4.38. Olave, they don't mention his speed. He ran a 4.39. Like, what?
I know.
It doesn't make any sense. Traylon Burks, I hope they steer clear of that guy.
Good God, no.
Jahan
No
Dodson
Traylon
is the
Burks.
guy for the Packers. Like, he is reliable. He's got the best hands. Multiple people have said he's got the best hands in the draft. Like, I know his RAS is down, and I know he's not ideal size at only 185 pounds, 5'11", but he's big enough he can play outside. He's good enough that he can play inside. He's versatile. He's what the Packers love.
He's the Micah Hyde. He's a Micah Hyde at receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a defensive, like if Micah Hyde defensive back, Jahan Dotson's the Micah Hyde. He's going to do all the right things. He's solid. He's going to make a huge play when you need a huge play. He's a football player. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. But he's not the game breaker. So you can't take him in the first round. You know what I mean? But he's going to be a very good veteran player for years and years and years and years. I mean, he was like a Donald Driver, right? Or like maybe a Greg Jennings, but not quite as fast. That's what Jahan Dodson could be. But I don't see him a first-round pick.
So Kelvin Austin, again, he's super quick and shifty, a little on the light side.
I love you some Kelvin Austin.
I want to look at this one.
Where's
Here
your
he is,
guy?
Wandale, number 15, 5'11", 185. He's pretty fast, 4.44, but really shifty and good running. I think he could be
5'11", is he?
Yeah, he's 5'11". No, they said he was 5'8" in the other listing I saw.
Yeah,
that's wrong. That's wrong. I don't know what this site's inaccurate. There's your guy, Alec Pierce. There's one other sneaker late round receiver.
Go back to Kevin Austin Jr. What they say about him.
Okay, Kevin Austin Jr.
See, they have him really high in this one.
He's pretty high, 17 on this one, 6'2", 209. Interesting prospect, moved up the draft boards following his combine performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think he could be a good, like a fourth-round pick or something that we can get who's got a lot of the same skills as like a George Pickens and a Christian Watson, except better. Like more, not better, but more consistent without the huge like game breakersness, but still has a lot of the same traits and is more consistent. You can count on. And as we all know, with Aaron Rodgers, he wants to count on the guy to be consistent, not just make a big play once out of every 4 times he gets to throwing the ball.
This is my last receiver I'm kind of interested in like a day 2, maybe.
Bo knows, Rick. Bo knows.
Maybe you get him a day 3 pick, maybe. But here's
just like his mustache.
No, but here's the deceptive thing.
A little bit like Antonio.
Here's the deceptive thing. His quarterbacks were terrible. They were terrible. Like, if you go and watch a bunch of highlights of this guy or whatever, he's open, and then the ball's way underthrown, and then he has to make a contested catch because the ball's, like, so far underthrown. So he was actually getting open. He only had 3 touchdowns, but he had, like, 5 touchdowns taken away because he was open for a touchdown. The quarterback underthrew it so far that he got tackled and couldn't get to the end zone because he had to wait for the ball. He's not as dynamic as any of the other guys we talked about. He's not as dynamic as Wandale Moore or any of the other quick, shifty guys, but he's got good hands. He could be a returner. He could also fill, more of an inside role. He's like 5'10", 5'11", so he's not that tall, more of an inside guy. He did play some outside. They used him giving him jet sweeps. They gave him some running plays. He's got pretty good vision, but he's not.
Wait a minute, but what about Debo Samuel? Everybody's saying we got to trade for Debo Samuel. Like, wouldn't we just have him?
Not if you can draft this dude in like
give
the
up 2
fifth round or sixth
picks
round
and pay the guy $28 million, or draft this guy in the 5th, 6th round.
I'm just saying, keep your eyes out for this Bo Melton guy. If the Packers grab him, late day 2 or day 3, don't be disappointed. I think he could turn into a valuable player for the Packers. Just heads up.
A guy who I know they could have had who's a valuable player? Aaron Parker. I'm going to say Aaron Parker until the day I die. What is this? Ben, how do you have time to do all this and play Madden? That's the problem, Ekis, is I couldn't sleep last night. Okay. And I went to work, and then the truck didn't show up, and they were like, okay, everybody just go home. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I went home, tried to sleep, laid in bed. I slept for about 2 hours. Then I woke up. Then I laid in bed for 3 hours. And I was like, this is just dumb. Like, I'm going to just get up. So I got up at 5 o'clock, and then I played Madden until I don't even know when, like 10. So I played 5 hours of Madden today. The best part is I played on franchise, and I drafted a quarterback in the 7th round, or in the 6th round. His name was Ben Harold.
Whoa.
And he sucked. He was like a 53 overall. And today I got him to be, he's up to an 86 overall after 2 full seasons and like 3 games. He is now, are you ready for this? Superstar X Factor, 86 overall, Ben Harold, after only his 2 years in the league. Bam! That's how good I am. The last game I just played, before I went and took a nap, and then Jason called me and yelled at me because I was sleeping. I was playing later on in the day because I was so excited about his Superstar X Factor. 596 yards passing and 7 touchdowns. And I'm not playing 15-minute quarters. I'm playing 6-minute quarters.
You must still have Devontae on the team.
No, I'm playing with the Lions, but actually, because they're my new favorite team. And it's the year. The year is now 2027. So it's been a few years down the road here now.
Tell him one of the first moves you made.
For what?
For that team.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you know what? I did it because I wanted to do it. So here's all the moves I made, by the way. Are you ready for this? If anybody's watched this show and known about our drafts over the last couple of years, here's what I did with the Lions to make them good. I traded for a bunch of guys that we talked about over the last couple of drafts. I got Neville Gallimore, D tackle. I got, are you ready for this? Landon Dickerson. I got Quinn Miners. I got Robert Tunyon. I got Jalen Darden, who actually is now also a Superstar X Factor. He just hit Superstar X Factor today. It took him about 5 years for me to get him there, but hey, he got there. It's hard for receivers because, you can't do it everything. But he's a guy who's high. He's kind of like the guy you just talked about. 5'7", 160 pounds, super quick and all that kind of, like Jalen Darden is that guy. But Tampa Bay drafted him last year in the 4th round and never played him. I don't know, but he's the same type of guy as those little guys. Anyways, nobody wants to hear about Madden stuff. But what I'm saying is
the Quinn Miners, I want to hear about that.
I also traded for Isaiah Coulter, who is Aaron Parker's cousin, and they both played on Rhode Island and came out the same year. But Isaiah Coulter got drafted. That's the other thing. Aaron Parker's not even in Madden. That's the thing that's so a bit sad. Because he's only been on practice squads, he's not even in the Madden game. I can't even get him. Otherwise, I would have totally traded for him and turned him into a Superstar X Factor for sure. But what I love to do is take these guys, and I trade for them, and then I turn them into Superstar X Factor. Oh, I also got, are you ready for this, Ekis? JOK. I traded for JOK. He is now a 96 overall superstar. He's not a Superstar X Factor, but he's a superstar inside linebacker, all-pro on the Lions in 2027 in Ben Hafeman's fantasy Madden. So, yeah, I do a lot of dumb stuff.
I thought you were going to say you had Jake Kumaro as being an X Factor also.
Yeah, I know. I could have got him, but I only had so many receiver spots. I already traded for Isaiah Colt. Ekis, I also traded for he's now gone. But another one of the first moves I made was I traded for his guy. What's his name? Claypool. But I had so many receivers because I had Isaiah Coulter and I had Jalen Darden and I also had St. Brown, who was still on the Lions. I used him too because he's awesome. And so I moved Claypool to tight end. So I had T.J. Hockenson as my tight end 1, and I had Chase Claypool as my tight end 2. And I just use him as a receiver all the time pretty much at tight end. And, oh, my God, I turned him into a freaking all-star. He was like a 90-something tight end. I traded him for 2 first-round picks. It was awesome later on. So he's not on my Lions team anymore because I traded him away.
All right. I just mostly wanted to get in there that you traded for Quinn Miners and that he's really good.
I know, but you get me started. All the guys, it's like real Hafeman love fantasy is what I do. It's like all the things that we could do if we were actual Packer GMs would just be insane. How good our teams would be. I've won the last 2 Super Bowls. You know, I know it's Madden. I know, but still, it's fun.
Quinn Miners is going to be awesome.
Since we're talking about like crazy super real things, since we touched on that offensive tackle that was a former wide receiver, and so many people are talking like, what are the Packers going to do if they lose Mercedes? How are they going to replace that? I think that's the solution. You draft him, you make him a tight end. He's a tight end that blocks like another tackle out there. He's got the he probably would catch even better than Mercedes. I think that's the secret weapon X factor that the Packers need.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need, Rick.
Definitely could be good at yards after the catch, or better at yards after the catch than Mercedes for sure, most likely.
Well, I think Mercedes just has a yard after the catch.
As far as he can fall forward, that's as far as he'll get.
Well, he's pretty tall, so maybe it is too.
Yeah. Rick, all right, before we go, tell us about I know you have very important duties with us, the Wonderlick and all that stuff that you're going to be doing. But you also have some wild beer stuff going on next week.
Yeah, so unfortunately I won't be able to hang out for 72 hours of live draft coverage like last year. But after finishing administering the Wonder Rick test, what if Wonder Rick is trademarked? I'm going to have to change it up. It's called the Wonder Rick.
You could add a couple extra questions in
Questions,
there.
yeah, like when we had your debate. We had that important Howie Long question.
Yeah, it really went over well.
Speaking of, I think we are going to be due for another debate in June, I think.
Hey, I found a guy, Jelani Woods, tight end, Virginia, 6'7", 253.
Okay.
RAS score of 10.
Wow.
What do you do? Like bench press 50 times and then quit?
I guess, but I think he's going to be – the Packers are going to draft him in the 7th round, and he's going to be the replacement for Big Dog.
Wow.
Jelani Woods.
So, next weekend I'm tied up. I'm not going to be here for the first round, but the rest of the weekend I'm working for the World Beer Cup competition that's here in Minneapolis this year.
Is that like that movie Beer Fest?
I think it's even better.
Where you guys hide in the basement and y'all just drink beers out of shoes?
Maybe at some point, but they actually make us work. We got to start at like 7 in the morning all 3 days.
Wow.
But, it's 5,000 beers from around the world and bringing in judges from all over the place.
Oh my God, so, Eckes, you must be so like jealous. What do you think, Eckes?
So,
wow. Well, Rick,
you have the greatest job of all time.
Working in the Solar Crew, you're going to have
real job.
5,000 entries for this thing. So should be fun. But this is a thing like when you see the Miller Lite commercials where Miller Lite was 5 times World Beer Cup champion for American Light Lager brewed in Wisconsin. Like they got their special categories that they win every year.
Yeah.
So it's that thing. So
the question is, are there any beers? Eckes wants to know: are there any beers that are specifically perfect for Beerios? The breakfast
Beerios.
Sensation. Eckes used to make Beerios. He'd take Cheerios instead of milk. He'd have beer as his.
You can find beers that are made with breakfast cereals. Unfortunately, I would probably recommend a Pilsner or a Kolsch, or maybe a Helles. Something that's got the nice crackery Pilsner malt character without being too hoppy. I mean, as breakfast, you don't want it to be too intense.
How about a rice beer? Would a rice beer go well with like Rice Krispies?
Probably. Go for traditional Budweiser. There you go.
Wow. I mean, we could do a whole show just on breakfast beer.
We're leaning in that direction to try to get a beer sponsor. Heads up. And if we get one, then we can talk about your beer on the show every week. We would be happy to do it.
I could be your beer sponsor, and you get 10% of my proceeds of everything. Wait, I don't sell my beer. Never mind.
Well, we'll always talk about your beer, Rick, glowingly. Even if we had a competing beer sponsor, we'd still plug your beer.
What about your buddy Peter? He's like big time brewer with one of your local breweries.
Yeah, he's I don't know. not really my buddy, I guess. But he's doing his thing with Starkweather beer, so that's fine. I've reached out to Working Draft Beer Company. I hope that they're interested. And also Off Broadway Draft House. There are a couple of possibilities, so let's see what happens.
Whoa.
Anyway, that way we can talk about their beers and promote and also get some other stuff going here for Hafeman Bros.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be more focused next week. Actually, no, on
Hey,
Thursday.
we're focused. Hey, we did a good job. Like,
Did
hey,
we do a good job? I don't know.
What is that? Where's the site you just were at where it had all those awesome pictures?
I don't
It's
know.
Way better than my draft guys I've been using.
It was, and it didn't have that weird like I don't know what that call girl like banner was or whatever that was, like singles, happy singles or wherever you were at.
Hey,
And that last one?
A lot of nerds are looking at doing the draft. So they're probably thinking, hey, look at these nerds that have time to do the draft. I've done so many mock drafts too.
Oh, it's Draft Buzz, NFLDraftBuzz.com.
All right, I'll have to check
That's
that
what it's called, NFL Draft Buzz. They just sell like kitchen supplies on the top banner.
Oh, so that's where the ladies go.
I guess that must be where the female
or
sports.
professional cooks.
That's true. That's true because men can cook too.
Well, my son is a great cook. I mean, hey. Rick, how come you didn't tell me that you had my son over to your house and all that kind of stuff like a few weeks back or a month back?
I don't know, because then you would have come and eaten all my food. I don't know.
I would've
No, we
came
only had him
visited
over
you.
once, but our schedule's super crazy. Like our kids are doing activities, so we got something going on like 4 nights a week, and then weekends have been crazy. So we'll feed him at least once more before spring finals.
Well, he really appreciated it. I know that. He was saying that. He felt bad because you had to drive him back, and then he had like a weird. He felt weird about not going to the bathroom at your house, so then he held it too long.
Oh, yeah.
And then he couldn't hold it.
That's a funny story.
And he's like, but then I couldn't hold it anymore, and he had to like wait for me because I left all my stuff in his car.
Yeah, we gave him our microwave, so he had to like run in and take care of some number 2 and then come back for his microwave.
That's
He was
hilarious.
he was-
That's
all
cool.
right.
You gotta do what you gotta do, you know.
Yeah,
It's
he
your
was
call.
embarrassed, but he was like, yeah, I didn't want to. Because he told me later, he's like, yeah, it sucked. I made him wait out there. And he's like, but I just felt weird about like taking a dump at his house.
It was fine.
Back to the toilet humor. That's how we do it here. See, that is.
Yeah.
Hey, Thursday night's going to be awesome.
Ekis will be on Thursday. We'll be fired up Thursday.
Remember, anybody wants to come on, you don't have to be on the whole freaking 5 hours. You can come in and take off and come back and leave and come back and leave and whatever.
That was awesome last year where we just had our like endless stream of inane banter between the Packers picks. It'd be
I will not be
Saturday going like for 3 hours before the Packers would pick again.
Yeah.
We'll have a good one, and if the Packers pick wisely, we'll have better things to say, and if they pick poorly, then we'll have some other things to say.
One of their most controversial picks that gave you guys your biggest taste of fame thus far. Here.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I know this year I am not putting all my eggs into one player anymore like I did last year, where I got so excited about JOK and then it just didn't happen because the Packers were dumb. Like,
would have been good,
but that's fine. So this year I'm just like, and I've done more studying on more players instead of just like falling in love with one or two and then being like, well, that's the guy. And now I know there's guys out there that I like, and I want to see what they do and then try to like piece it together after, and find out, okay, well, why is this guy the guy they took as opposed to other players, and then try to find some upside and be a little more positive about it instead of swearing and screaming and yelling like I did last night. But I probably will still I'll probably still be mad. I'm hoping I don't be as
we should just point out we should just point out real quick that if the Packers had done what we wanted them to last year, they would not have any offensive line problems to worry about right now. And they could just focus on receivers and fill a couple holes and probably win the Super Bowl. But, they didn't do that, so now we are where we are. So
but see, you would have been drafting Quinn Miners in the first round.
That would have been fine, and he'd be awesome. he'd be freaking awesome, Rick. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, these guys sit there and they get obsessed with before we go, they get obsessed with their like grade. I don't have a first round grade on this guy. If this guy's awesome and he's going to be good and he's going to be a starter on your team for 10 years, I don't give a crap if you drop him in the first round. If he wasn't a first round grade or not, that's a first round pick to me. And then if you could have gotten like Miners and Landon Dickerson, this O-line, whoop,
Yeah, it'd be good.
good to
So,
go, baby.
Well, I'm not sure I would condone Quinn Miners in the first round. I will say that, sometimes if you do need to draft by need and not always just best available, right?
And
I mean, what's
why
late
is that,
first
Rick?
round? What's really the value? Like,
Why is that, Rick?
the-
Why is that? Because there are 11 players on offense and 11 players on defense. There are different positions, and there's only so many guys you can get on the field. So what in the hell is the point of drafting these guys who aren't going to get on the field?
I mean, I've been hearing talk of the Packers need an edge rusher. They need another top tier edge rusher. Like what? No, pick up a crusty old dude. Like, see if you can get Merciless to come out of retirement, right? You're just looking for a guy to rest your two studs that you got.
Well, there's a couple of good guys out there I actually like. I mean, like the guy Jason was like when we did the mock draft a couple weeks ago. Jason was like, "There's a Kingsley. Let's get that guy." Well, you know what? I looked up on this Kingsley. He's actually really good. Like he's a good outside pass rusher. He doesn't have a high RAS score, but he knows how to use his hands. He gets to the edge. He's a good at like he can beat his guy. He can hold up against the run. He's a good player, and he's not going to be, he might be like a second, third round pick or something. But I could see a second. They got 5 picks in the top 92, right? So it's like if one of those picks in the second or third round is a Nick Benito, who's like a pretty much just a pass rush specialist kind of guy, but he's about the size of Clay Matthews. I mean, Clay Matthews played outside linebacker, just fine. The difference is you have to have. He'd be perfect on when they have 3 down linemen who are in the 300-pound range, not where lately they've been playing just 2 guys and then pretty much playing like a 4-3 with Gary and Preston at the outside defensive ends, really. But but a guy like Nick Benito can come in on third down. You draft him in the second round, and he's an impact pass rush specialist that we haven't had in a while. He's not going to hold up against the run, but that's not his job. He comes in on third down, or first down or whatever. Those are things I wouldn't be opposed to, But I agree. I don't want to see like them, unless like Karlaftis or whatever falls down to 22 and he should have been gone, or one of these guys, one of these top 6 pass rushers that everybody's talking about are going to go in the top, 15. One of them falls down to 22 or 28, and you're like, well, crap, we got to take. I mean, that's different, But I mean, I could see them doing a pass rusher because, Preston's long in the tooth, and Gary's contract's coming up, and though I think they're going to pay him, but I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't know, Rick. Yeah. I kind of disagree with you, I guess, sort of. But I also, me. I just talked about it before. I want a guy who's going to play now, for the most part, over the guy who's. Well, I just think it's dumb to take guys who aren't going to play for 2 years.
Different if they still find someone who can make an impact now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they might just have to work a little harder to find whether it's a free agent or someone in the late round who can really make a difference. Right. I mean, the bottom line is they need someone who they can plug in and play now. So that's great. If you got, top 10, top 12 talent that drops down, sure. I mean, that's like you said, it's a different story. The difference of, well, here's a guy we graded in early second round, but it's a guy we could really use right now. So let's not take him at 22. I feel like that might be a scenario where, okay, maybe you overreach a little bit, but if it's someone that you want and you can use, maybe it's worth stepping up a little bit as opposed to taking, another corner or whatever. I mean, well, whatever happens with Jair, at least you got him right now. So,
yeah,
right. I mean, this isn't top need this season.
The other thing I think it's really important that a lot of fans don't think about when it comes to these drafts, and I don't know if Goody thinks about it either, but certain positions are on the field every play, right? Offensive line. Usually it's a cohesive unit. Like if you spend a high draft pick on an offensive lineman, you want that guy to play and start now and be on. I mean, that's an important role, an important guy. But if you spend, a high pick on an offensive lineman when you already have a guy at that spot, he's going to sit there and do nothing. He's never going to see the field. Where if you spend a high pick on a pass rusher or a defensive tackle or something like that, guys that rotate a lot, you're going to see that guy may not be a starter this year, but he will be a guy who plays a lot because they rotate more often. But
that's a fair point.
That's the only reason why I say okay. Like I could see them getting a top-notch pass rusher guy if he falls to him, and I wouldn't be mad about it because hey, that guy's going to see the field. But if they draft a guy, like quarterback, Jordan Love, the guy isn't going to see the field, right? It was dumb, and that's the kind of stuff that that bothers me. So I'm with you. I just think like each position has got its certain value where like, hey, this could, even though he is going to be drafting a backup, he might like Eric Stokes.
You still get some contribution out of him.
Yeah, like Eric Stokes. Hey, do we need an inside linebacker? Yeah, because Chris Barnes is okay, but JOK could have been awesome. But Eric Stokes saw the field and he played a lot, even though he didn't start right away. And then eventually they were like, okay, Kevin King, you're out. And Douglas and Stokes were the guys who were starting, along with Chan Sullivan. So, and they still haven't replaced Chan Sullivan. I don't know who's going to play the nickel spot. I'm hoping I think Douglas could do it because of his tackling ability. But I know he's so good at the outside, they might want to keep him there. But it's like you can't have 3 outside corners when there's only 2 spots. That's another thing that's kind of strange. But what are you going to do? I'm blabbing again. Sorry. Jason tried to go away, and the show keeps going.
That's all right. Good points all the way around. We'll have better points on Thursday. And why should you tune in? Because not only will we all be waiting to hear the Packers' first-round pick, we'll be joined by Eckes. He might be sober Eckes at the beginning, but drunk Eckes by the end.
Oh, yeah. Last year he was hammered.
And we'll get to make fun of Viking Mo for the Vikings pick. Plus, Ben and I will do the Wonderlick, administered by Rick, now reframed as the Wonder Rick. Yeah. So tune in for all that and more on Thursday.
And I'm going to do zero prep for that thing, by the way. Zero.
Me too, as well. I will do no prep. So, we'll have an excuse when we do poorly. All right.
Is that like preparation H? Preparation Hafeman style?
Something preparation like that. H when, Mom and Dad brought some Renard's cheese over. That stuff might come out weird, so.
I can't handle
I'm such a wuss. Hey, Rick, I got to ask you a question. I know this is never going to end.
Stop.
Have you ever gotten Renard's cheese? What people from Minnesota don't understand. I try to explain to them what it's like.
Somehow our number of viewers is going up. I don't know how, but anyway,
it's because we're talking about cheese. I mean, this is a Packer. This is Wisconsin. Anyways, but these people in Minnesota, they're like, oh yeah, I get sharp cheddar and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, no. Like they buy it from the grocery store. It's like, this is not sharp cheddar.
Crystal Farms,
Yeah. I take a bite out of it. I'm like, this is like mild cheddar. But the worst part is now that I've lived over here and had that cheese, Mom and Dad will bring home, sometimes they'll bring over, I'll bring some good stuff from Renard's cheese. And they'll bring it over, and it's like, I take one bite, and my brain is fried, and I can't handle it. Even the 1-year-old sharp cheddar, I can't imagine having the 2-year sharp cheddar anymore.
You gotta get the old, the 7-year-old, what's got the crusty little salt crystals coming out.
No, you can't do that.
You can't even slice it; it just crumbles.
I know. Yeah, it does. It does crumble. You can't cut it or nothing because it just rips apart in there. But it tastes amazing. And then coming out later, that's the best. Is when you're in bed later, and you got to let the farts out, and you keep them under the blanket, and then you gotta, let your wife smell the stink of the fart. Yes.
It's cheese. It's
that's right. Though that is the key to a long marriage. By the way. 2 weeks from now, 20-year wedding anniversary for me. Jason already had his 20-year wedding anniversary. Are you 21 years now, Jace, or is it 20? It's 22? No.
Almost.
Yeah, but you're 21. You just had your 21 in January. February or whatever. When did you get married? December or January?
January.
January
13th.
warmest January of all time, at least a day anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that was good. The Bucks won and dominated. They're 2-1. Ben gets cheesy farts from Wisconsin. Congratulations. He's a wuss for now eating Minnesota cheese.
Yeah. Whoa.
Marty's fired up. Toilet trophy is now mine. And
I'll get
Go
it back
Pack,
next
go.
year, you jerk.
go Pack, go. Go Pack, go. And don't screw it up on Thursday night. Goody, let's go. We'll see you Thursday night for a Packer show and the draft party and special. See you then.
Tell me why the unicorn just to hold me